should probably update them a bit manually, not like this, but it's okay. Should be fine. Okay. Update titles. I don't know why I gotta do that, but all right, everyone. We are building the ChatGPT scheduler app. I don't know if there's. Okay. We don't need to be here, but we do need to go to Prisma, and we have to make an event, and we'll just base it off of what we have already. So we can just go to, we have a types file. And we're gonna just go to Prisma. So, for folks who are watching this, I guess later, or I guess later, because right now, I don't see anybody here. A thing that I did off stream before I started streaming was I went ahead and I added the Google Calendar API to the project. So it's like probably one of the only few things I've actually done off of stream, and it took me about like, I want to say 20 minutes, 30 minutes, not super long, but I did have to do it, and I just didn't want to, leak anything. But yeah, it's the documentation that Google brings or gives sort of is confusing. I was like, I don't know how effectively to do this. And then I went to ChatGPT and I was just like, hey, like, how do you do this? Like, how do you use the Google Calendar API? And it's just like, oh, here you go. And I was just like, oh my God, thank you so much. Because it was just so difficult for me to like wrap my head around how I was going to implement this in my application. And ChatGPT sorted it out for me. I feel like the future of AI is like right there. I feel like the future of AI is like labeling. It's like organizing. It's like, it isn't about creative work per se, more than like a task that you don't have to do that might be more not meaningless, but like not as like super like needed. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't have to watch, like, for example, these streams, right? I've streamed like 3 or 4 times, and I'm just like, well, now it's archived, and if people want to watch it, I think the easiest way for them to engage with it is like, let's label the content. Like, let's have subtitles, let's have chapters. And currently I don't have, I don't know if I have the time to go through every single thing, every single stream, and like label the content. So an easier way to do this would be, okay, I can like literally download the video, use Whisper, OpenAI's Whisper, which is not only free, but it's also local only. So you can go ahead and like you have to download the models that they use to sort of transcribe audio, but like once you do that and you're transcribing, like I have a whole Word document full of like everything. And then in theory, I could use ChatGPT to summarize the content or to break it up, and then it could make chapters. which is actually, I think, sort of how Opus Clips works. So like they literally will like usually it's used on podcasts, or it's most effective on podcasts. You download a podcast, you transcribe it so you have the text, and then you use another summarization API or a request, and it just can summarize stuff. But then it has to match it to the exact words. I don't know how that works, but like that would be the last step. It would be to match the important stuff with the timestamps on a video. But yeah, like that's what AI is good for, like summarization, like summaries, stuff like that. It's great. It's great. But anyway, we created an event. We had already put in Google Calendar off stream, so we're gonna go ahead and let's go ahead and clear this, and we're going to migrate this because we created a new model. Prisma migrate dev creates. All right, cool. So we migrated it, so now we have this available. Hopefully, what happens sometimes is like, it just doesn't want to work. We're gonna probably have to make a new router, event.ts. We'll just copy task. Event router. List events is still there because we need that. And that's actually what, well, no, we're not gonna return it here. We're going to return it elsewhere. I'm gonna figure that out. So no, we're gonna still need that. Public event, and so all of it is needed in order to create. So we create an event. It has a name. It is a start time. Z dot. Is it a date? Can you do date? You do date string. I gotta make sure we can do date string. Zod date string. All right, you can use it. You can do that. Oopsie. I did that in the wrong field. I did that on the wrong field. Start time, end time, is habit. I actually don't even need is habit. I'm just gonna be like, it's by default, it's gonna be false. I had an intention with that, and I flopped with it. And I actually don't even need duration either. I think that's what we have for events right now, but we don't actually need these. I'm gonna have to migrate. I'm gonna have to migrate again. Is habit, frequency, duration. I can get rid of these. Mostly because, like, let's see, input events, and let's close out of that. Let's close out of that. Let's close out of this. Event data, event. All right. We gotta migrate again. I was just like, what are we doing? We gotta migrate again. We gotta migrate again. And we might have to restart TypeScript because it's gonna say that like we're doing stuff incorrectly. Like this should work as soon as we have everything. So want to see how it outputs the date. Okay, cool. So I have, hold on, I will do this because I can do this. So I've created a new calendar, and as you can, it's called ChatGPT, and as you can see, the only thing that's on there is this thing. So, let's see, created, updated, start, and so there we go. ChatGPT, date time. I feel like that should be fine, but that's okay. So now what we need to do is something similar to task, but kind of different. So if this was like a full-blown production application, what I would probably do is have a queue or a cron or something that's like running like not every 5 minutes. Honestly, like it seems like Reclaim does it like every, I don't know, minute. But like if you make, I guess you could do like if you make a change on the client, then you could send a request to the backend and be like, hey, fetch all the events, get it back, and then do any magic that needs to happen, and then give me the new version of the calendar. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna be lazy. So we're just gonna be like, every time it refreshes, give me all of the events, I guess. I'll make another, though I will make another route. So get all, and then also fetch events. Make this a public procedure, and it's gonna need to be async because that's how you fetch basically anything. And I might not need to, it's a query. It isn't so much, I'm not creating anything. I guess technically I am creating something, but there doesn't need to actually be a input. But async CTX inputs. Return CTX, or yeah, we create the events. Find many. All right. And let's just, I also need to update the title. And then we're gonna put a comma here. Query. So fetch events would just be the list events for like the rest of the week, and then yeah, we're good to go. What is the first thing? Get existing events. So hold on. This is what I hate about at least the way that TypeScript works on my computer, is that like it's just funny. It just wants to be funny. I don't know why. All right. Mutation query. Sorry, my brain just farted. Okay. Fetch events, CTX input, we need to list events. We need to do something special to the events though. So what I need to go to is actually gcal return events. So I don't think I'm ever gonna do like too many events. We'll do 20. Single event, order by start time, time min, and also time max. And what I want to do is start of week and then new date, because I am how you say lazy. And then we want end of week. So the reason why I'm getting both of these is because whenever I call the function list events, I want the application to assume that we're talking about this week. We're talking about the week we're in. And I think that should be fine. What's going on? Time max must be greater than this. Let's just do 10 and see if that fixes anything. It seems like when I added time max that it just kind of broke, which I don't want it to break. Is it a string? Oh, to ISO string. It's like, what's going on? It's like, why are we getting these weird errors? Which means we can now do that. All right, so now let's just add a bunch of other events. Another event. Eventer. Long event. And we'll do an all-day event. All-day event. Add location, all day. So we'll do that, and we'll also make an event for Monday just to make sure. You shouldn't see this. So boom. Now we have 4 events that we should see and 5 events in total. Let's go ahead and yarn dev. Go ahead and save this. So fetch events. What I'm trying to do is we do const e for await ctx dot db dot event dot create so we have to wait that. We also need to wait the list of events, and I wanted to list the events first, but then because I have spent so much time awaiting Prisma calls, my brain decided to just do that, which I need to do anyway, but yeah, that's gonna happen. So what we're gonna do is events, and since we actually do not necessarily need, so we're gonna do item. We can also create multiple. I don't even need to do that. I can create many. We're gonna do boom and start time and end time. should work. And then we're gonna find all the events and return them. Await, create many. I forgot what the syntax is for this. Create many charisma. Create multiple records. So we do data and we do events. And then skip duplicates. But there's no ID on them, so this won't work the way that I'm thinking. So we're not gonna do that. We aren't gonna do that. Or it's called item. Events dot for each item. I'm gonna do that. And we have to make this async, and then we're gonna do item. But what we do is we spread the item. What is it? It's we do that format. We don't need to do this. Promised return where void. Promised return in a function argument where a void was. That's crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and look this up because I should be able to. Async function. For each. Okay. So for of, I'm being told I should use a for of. For const item of events we can remove this madness. If events no events, and we're gonna do that. Otherwise, we do have to structure this. Is title on here? Is title on here? I don't know if title is on here. Name? Organizer. Summary, all day event. Summary is the name. Gosh darn it. Why is it called summary? So summary, that is name. Start time is item dot start dot times. Date time. Yeah, we want date time. And then end time, item start or end. The expected type comes from name, which is declared on here. I'm just gonna say an event because it's just like, we shouldn't even, actually, let's not do that to ourselves. We'll just say if it doesn't have something, we should just continue. So if item dot summary, if it doesn't exist, or if there is no start time, like what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? We don't gotta worry about that. We're gonna say continue. And continue just allows us to not, we can skip over that particular event. We'll just say end, and we'll just say start. And if we do this correctly, actually, so we can't do, we have to do date time. And then date time. So now we don't have to option chain our values, because I mean, it's something that you really have to do in TypeScript, but I prefer just not doing it. I hate the way it looks, TBH, but I do understand its usefulness. Okay, so fetch event gives us all of the events. Get all gives us all the events. And ooh. What was I gonna do? Doing many things. What I also need to do actually is, I'm gonna say event ID, give it a string. So I have to figure out what it means to skip duplicates on here. Okay. So the reason why I'm doing skip duplicates is because, oh my god, I'm gonna sneeze again. Oh my god, I'm so sniffly. Anyway, so the reason why I decided to do, oh, is it happening? I'm gonna sneeze. I'm gonna sneeze. It's gonna happen. No, so the reason why I'm doing skip duplicates is because when I get an event, and like, let's say I change the time, I want to be able to track if the event still exists in its prior state, but I would want to update it, right? So I have to figure out that. Let me think. If I'm getting event and the date changed times, because otherwise this is just creating an event over and over again. So we should probably upsert. And I think this is create, and then we do update, start time, and then the name could actually update too, right? Like we could, if we change the time, we can also change the name. That happens sometimes. Where event ID is equal to item dot ID. So we have to migrate right now, because otherwise I'm not gonna get that sweet IntelliCode or whatever it's called when the IDE tells you how to build your app. All right, so now event ID should exist on there. It's, you know, it will likely be, oh no, no, I didn't save it, no. Okay, cool. Okay, we're good. Everything updated, we upsert on each one. So now we should be getting a list of each of the events, right? We should be getting a list of each of the events. And or is it data? Is it create or is it data? Let me check the docs. I felt like it was create, but I could be wrong. Upsert. So it is where update and create. Event ID needs to be declared here. Event ID item.id. And then we gotta do this, which I don't know why it wouldn't have an ID. That sounds preposterous, but here we are. Oh shoot, right, because we're creating events from okay, here's what we're gonna do. So there is going to be a create, right? There is going to be a create, but the way that it works isn't we're just creating something and it goes to the database. We're gonna create something, it's gonna go to Google Calendar. So this is gonna be persist here. And we're gonna do to do. So we're not gonna do this, I don't think we're gonna do this right now. I don't think we need to do this right now. But we do, what we'll have to do is we'll have to figure out how to create using this. Which shouldn't be hard. Example, create events on the user's calendar. So boom, export async function, create events, and then we do try catch. And then honestly, I'm just gonna ask ChatGPT to do this for me. It was so helpful with everything earlier, so let's go ahead and ask ChatGPT to do this. We're gonna say, how can I create events for GCal with No, hold on. No, I gotta refresh. Hold on. No. Okay, hold on. How can I create an event with the API? Event insert. And we're just gonna steal this. All right. But we aren't gonna finish this, and then also this needs to be an array thing. So the idea is that we create an event using gcal. If it goes successfully, it comes back to us. We persist the data that we need in the DB, like using Prisma, and then we go to the next array item, and then we do it again, and then the next one. We do it again, and then in combination with the events that we made, and also the events that we made and the ones that were already on our calendar already, they sort of get combined onto one thing. There's another way you can do this, technically speaking, and I think again one of these are like another production consideration, like a cleanup or like something that's more modular for my use case, would be, hey, when you make things for your calendar, things that you already have are on one calendar and the app can see that, but anything else that you create is on a different custom calendar, right? You can still edit the other calendar. Like for example, all the R generated stuff, the AI generated stuff, or the tasks being turned into events could be on another calendar. And then events that we've already planned for, schedule stuff that we already have, can be somewhere else. So what I want to do because of that actually is to say, is generated, and then we just make a Boolean, right? And the intention for that field is that anytime we generate something, we can identify it on the event. And I think you can actually, when I was playing around with Reclaim and looking at all their stuff in the like a Postman situation and like looking at the JSON, I think you can actually attach custom fields to Google Calendar events to be used in the APIs. So that's a thing, I think. But yeah, we're very close to being able to say that we're done. So we got the existing events, right? If we do fetch events, which what I want to do here on the index, which is actually just calendar, what I want to do is when I start, we can go ahead and fire this event. We could also do this. I think this will likely be the best way to do this actually. So we'll say API dot, it's events, API event. I don't think I added the events. Yeah. The event router. API dot event dot fetch events. Is there anything else? Use query. Like this is it. I fear that if I use it anywhere else, it's just gonna keep firing, you know? Let's look at the contexts. Context. All right, I guess we're using it here. Never mind. We don't gotta. Let's just copy the pattern. Data as events is loading. Events loading. And then API undefined. Guess we need nothing there. And then on success, which is currently depreciated because there's a better way of doing this. We do and fetch events is giving us. Is there? Okay, let me take this out. Cannot redeclare block scope variable events. Oh, DB events. There we go. Events are loading. I don't know why it's saying this. Oh, calendar event. We have to update calendar event. So let's go over here. We don't need duration. We don't need like at all. But we do need event ID. Autofix. Failed on upsert. Unknown argument. The source of truth is the calendar for events. The source of truth for task is our app. I don't know why. New event name. I have that. We have the event ID here. And if we can't find it in the DB, it shouldn't. Let me Google this. Prisma. Okay. I knew that was gonna be a bad idea, so I was just like, if we have start time as a string, we should probably keep it as a string instead of trying to import it as a date and trying to coalesce it. So it might actually end up being less work for us. So we'll just do that, and we have to fix the event, and we can say that should be fine. This can be a string. And we're gonna have to migrate everything again. Okay, so something's wrong. Unknown argument. Let's also open up Prisma Studio. Figure this one out. Wait, I do need frequency, and I do need, hold up, what did I just screw up? So calendar event. For a task. So for a calendar event, yeah, I don't need this. I don't need this. Event ID. And you know, actually, we don't even need this. Because we have data now, and we can get rid of faker too. Okay, so that's not giving us any more errors. Let's go to calendar and see what we're getting, like what's going on here. I don't see the red. Oh, now we have to calculate the duration manually, which isn't bad. We just have to make a function to do this. Parse JSON. Dates to. I may have already made this, but I'm not sure. So you would just do return, duration, not format duration, but like difference, I think. Difference. I feel like I already made this. Difference. Okay, yeah. generate span. Okay, cool. We can just bring all the date times in. Event dot start time, event dot end time. That should work. Get duration we can get rid of. This should work. Don't blame me. Expected 2 arguments, but got 0. Yeah, don't play me. Don't play me. Don't play me. Yeah, we gotta keep looking for the unknown argument error. I did define it with the unique. Very intentionally did that. Let's just make sure we don't have to like migrate again. Okay, cool. And what I'm assuming I need to do is this. Is reset. Because sometimes what happens with like DB changes is like you gotta just reset the DB. You have to reset, you have to like recompile completely and stuff sometimes. Look at that, it worked. So now we have events. They just look funny. So we have to figure that out. All right, so we have 2 events here and we have 1 event here. That's at 5:30. That's at 3 and then that's at 6. We don't need the console log every time we have an event, so we can go to gcal and just do that. And I don't remember where I put fetch event. It must have been in context. And that's just gonna happen I think that's gonna happen literally every time we render. I don't know. We might have to fix that. Is there any other console logs that are firing? Because it's firing every time I click into here. Crazy. Well, it's fast at the very least. That's fine. Like, it's fast. It's fast. I just don't know why the console log is still... like... Ah, here we go. Here we go. And we don't need that here. I see what's going on. So we're gonna go ahead and refresh. And event. So those are events. I guess that's fine. We have to fix this. So what's going on is these aren't rendering properly. So it's giving us the right column, but what's happening is something is broken on the generate span, which is definitely my fault. This should give us a string. I think it might be giving us a number. So we can do this, and then we can coalesce it coalesce it. We can make it a string. It should be a string. So this divided by this, and then we can just do that. It looks a little bit cleaner to me. So can we do parse int then? Should we do parse int? Interesting. Let's see. Parse int, 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 parse int. Generate span. So when this has happened before, it means I did something wrong. So we're gonna do this and we're gonna say 5. If that's right, it goes to the right spot. Cool, cool, cool. This just means that I am not generating a string. It's not return. This isn't a string, which likely means this needs to be end time, and then this needs to be start time. Yep, cool. Got it, got it, got it. Look at that. Look at that. This is a moment. This is a moment. We're seeing a sync up with the events, right? Which is like when you first get into this app and you connect your calendar, this is what you want to see. You want to see what's already there, and you want ChatGPT to plan around it. So I want to make sure that this is. Oh, I got to turn up the mic. I got to turn up the mic. Oh no. I think the music just might be too loud. I'll turn it down. It needs to be audible, but it needs to be not too loud. So see, we're gonna do that, right? And if I refresh, it gives us our event. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Thank you for that catch, Brawl Stars. Thank you. Appreciate it. Welcome back. Also, welcome back. So look at that. We are like, I want to say we're like 60, 70% done with the MVP. Like we're at a point where like we can add tasks and we can create events from our tasks. We now need to make sure that the prompt correctly ingests the events that we already have. And then when we create an event, it just needs to persist to gcal and then come back to us, and we're good to go. So what we need to do is I can't do the audio too much higher, but this should be fine. I'm gonna string is not assignable to. Oh, I was like, why am I getting an error? Okay, generate prompt, task string. Where did I do the task string? Where's the task string? Oh, it's right here. So now we do an event string. An event string. Events. I don't know why I didn't do events yesterday. Events. And I also need to go to where generate prompt is and do events. And I need to know where I got events, global events. We can go back down to generate prompt. Generate prompt. We'll do global events because that's how we defined it. And context. We can go to generate prompt. I'm glad that most of the project is complete. Keep doing. Yeah. Did you mean event? I probably did. So it's declared, but it's event string. And we'll just do event. Happens at. And it's an event. Happens. So, what about Google Copilot? Have you tried it? I'm not going to try it for this project. I'll try it for the next project. Just because, like, I'm almost done. You know, like, after the stream is done I think I'll be feature complete. So, I won't actually need to, like, I'm gonna use it for the next thing. But I will test it out. I will play with it because it's 30 days free trial, so I might as well. A task happens at this time. Event happens at start time. We should say actually, we need to format this. This needs to be formatted. And I think we need to pull up the documentation for date, FNS, date functions. I think it's date functions. Format. What's your take on Google Copilot? Like, how do you feel about AI assistants? What time? I need the time. I need the date and time in a really cool way. This might work. If it works, it works. Good thing event. Okay, events. Right on. Thank you for keeping me honest. What do you mean? Start time does not exist on event. Calendar event. And then we're going to take this and do that. It's very helpful. Okay. Yeah, TypeScript is slow. I don't know why I think it's just because I'm streaming. But I've just noticed during this project that it's kind of slower than I'm used to. Calendar event. Start time, end time. Okay, so we're fixed now. All events happen formatted like this. There should be it. And there are existing events that should not be over overwritten. And we'll just put a period there. And then we're going to do this event string. We probably just imported something accidentally because I've noticed I do that sometimes when I'm typing really fast. Okay. Now it's time to add the task and turn them into events with an application like Motion and whatchamacallit, Reclaim. They do I don't know about Motion actually. I know about Reclaim. Reclaim, once you have a task or habit or whatever turned into an event, you can actually see it on the side where it's been scheduled, which is really cool. So that would be another production optimization or quality of life thing that I would add. So these are the events that we have, and we don't have persist events working right now. It's just there to remind me to do that. But we can see that the events actually do match up. You know, and so what we're going to do is make prompt. And I haven't tested the new prompt because we created a new prompt based on the events that we got this week. So that means actually, let me see. When I'm creating the prompt, only use events from this week. I haven't organized it as such, but that's something I have to think about, which is why when I do date time, I'm going to, in the future, I guess another optimization I would do is like it gets created as an object and it comes out as a string, I guess. Or like it's created as an object and it moves through the code as an object until it's being rendered. And then when it's being rendered, all you have to do is toString, because the date object is gonna have all the information we need, and a string is just so people can actually read it. So make prompt. Oh, this is scary. Put it into do, yeah. Okay. So it created go to Best Buy 2 times. It did rent a movie once. It did wash a car once. And it did go to the doctor once. And none of the events conflicted, which is good. This is good. This is exactly what we want. Like, this is basically done, except for the biggest thing that I'm concerned about is like I need it for the rest of the week. I don't want it for the beginning of the week. Like, we have Thursday is today, so I need it for the rest of the week. I need it for let me see what the prompt was too. I need a schedule for the rest of the week of December 17th with the following information. The following information. What do you mean? Nothing should be planned for Tuesday. Something was planned on Tuesday. All events happen between 9 to 5 p.m. UTC, -5, which is Eastern Standard Time. I need a schedule for the rest of the week. Let's remove this. Like, I know why I have it here, and honestly, I should probably initialize. Fee init commit. Oh, yeah, at all. There we go. We're gonna go ahead and just remove this. So now it's gonna say those are stage change, or those are just changes. They're not staged yet. Let's see if we can get the prompt to only do the rest of the week. Another optimization would be showing the current time too in the calendar, which you have it here. How would I do that? I guess it would have to do with the vertical lines, and you could just do an overlay, and then you just get the time. It just has to update in real time, which might be weird. It might be like a use effect or something. Let's go ahead and make the prompt. And then we're just waiting for it. Okay, wait. Did it work? Did it work? Wait, dang it, I touched it. It does that when you touch it. Okay. Let me make sure that this doesn't just automatically refresh every time I click away from the window. On success. Query. Hold on, y'all. We're so close. Query. Focus window refreshing. And we want to define this globally. So we're gonna look for config trpc gcal root trpc. All right, cool. Error formatter, default meta. No, that's not it. Create context options, intercom. Let's see. I gotta check the T3 real quickly. T3 seconds documentation on it. And then we're gonna look for config. No. Config. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. So links. So after links, we can do default. Query client. I guess default options isn't there. Refresh. Oh. Query client config. Is it default? Default? No. Wait. Default options. Queries. Refetch on window refetch on window focus needs to be false. It does not need to fire every time we're on here, or else we're gonna lose precious information. And then refetch interval. I don't know. Refetch on connection. Sure. We just need to turn that off. So, okay. Let's go ahead and try to make prompt one more time. Okay, cool. No, it it keeps re-rendering. It keeps re-rendering. Okay, hold on. I don't know what I did to this file, but let's. So now it doesn't refetch, but what I think is happening is it's just setting every time. Okay. It doesn't seem to be consistently blocking the time off, but it is respecting some of the events. It also sort of ruined the event that was at 9. So I think honestly it's basically up to prompting. So like let's see. Fetch events. Let's just make sure fetch events happens once. Fetch or use query only once. Okay, I'm gonna refresh. Make sure everything's working correctly. Make prompts. It moved the events. It moved the existing events. And this miscalculated for some reason. Maybe a conflict. Okay, cool. It doesn't seem to be refetching, which is good. But we're gonna need to fix it because this ain't working correctly. So one thing that I need to do really quickly is calendar event ID. If it doesn't have an event ID, I'm trying to think. When we get the new events, so let's go to the context. What's going on? What did I do? So we have the events, we have add task, we have update event state, new state, generate the week. Chat mutate. And then we should have an on success, parse as schedule, set global events. I want to do a different schedule, because what I want to do is I want to add item. We want to do a spread item, and then we say is generated, and then true for each of the items. So now we can see we go if event is generated, we can do this. Unsafe should be fine. I don't know why that wouldn't be fine. So now we need to refresh. And let's get our events. We got our events. And I want to see the prompt this time, so I got it. I went ahead and clicked on it. I need to schedule for the rest of the week with the following information. All existing events. So this moves another day, but it's giving us everything. This doesn't have 30 minutes between, so we gotta tweak the prompt. And we can go ahead and put this on the type so it doesn't yell at us. Is generated Boolean, and what we're gonna do is make it optional. Now we shouldn't be getting this. An event, we can just say an event happens. An event there are existing, they are as followed, and then we have the event string. They are as followed. Format the schedule like this. So let's see what happens when we change this, right? Now that we have the is generated, it shouldn't use these other events that we just generated as, like, it shouldn't use them at all. We should be able to do this, and it's fine. Oh, now there's nothing. There is nothing. Schedule, start time. It only did the ones that had times, and then also it's just not rendering them. This is so funny. An event. Go ahead and refresh. Hey, chill. Okay, so it just altered everything. Like, none of the existing stuff is an event. New event happens at happens from to, and we can just say don't overwrite their existing events. They are as followed. Hopefully this works. Because it's there are existing events. They are as followed. Let's see. There are existing events. They are as followed. Create events for the following tasks. And we do this. Create events for the following tasks based on earlier rules. So this is just like a lot of prompt engineering, which is cool. So we're back to the original calendar schedule, the schedule that's on here. The two things that I'm making sure that can happen is that we can change the function that consumes the events to just add each one individually, or we can get the prompt to give us everything all together. I want it to be everything all together. But based on the earlier rules, format the schedule like this. All right, let's do it. Make prompts. And it just keeps deleting everything. All right, hold on. The rest of the week starting with starting on formats, new dates, PP. Alright, let's refresh. Yeah, this is a tedious process. Like, this is like literally the last part too. It's just making sure that the prompt is mostly consistent, because the whole idea is that we would hit make prompt over and over again anyway. And if we were smarter, we would make our own model. And yeah, they are as follows. I need to change this to an event. I need a schedule for the rest of the week starting on with the following information. All events happen between. Nothing should be planned for Tuesday. There should be at least 30 minutes between events. There are existing events that need to be included in the output. They're as follows. Create events based on the task, based on the following tasks. Create events for the following tasks based on earlier rules. Okay. So hopefully this time it will actually output, these events will actually output with everything. Okay, that is pretty decent. Um, so let's see. New event got moved up 5 hours for some reason. Uh, this didn't get moved. Long event didn't get moved, but go to Best Buy landed on top of it, even though we have so much time at 9 a.m. And then another event is fine. So the only thing that was a casualty was new event. Yeah, literally it was only new event. And then the all day event does not exist, apparently. I guess let me look at Figma or Prisma Studio. I want to look at the events because okay, so we're not getting the all day events based on the consumption for fetch events, which is fine. Like honestly, it's fine. It's not a big deal. Because usually when I use all day events, it's typically just to say that there's something that's happening that day. But it's not necessarily blocking time. So that's okay. So what we need to do is just keep prompting. Like let's see if we can get something oh right. So here's the thing. I don't think the prompt is going to include the event the second time, which we need to fix. So AI create. False, 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 false. Ah, see, that makes sense. So never mind. We do need to make sure that the is generated happens, and then hold on. Where is the function that creates? Right here. So instead of set global events, hold on. We're going to do we're going to update this. We're going to say we just want a straight set events. Previous state. Let me ask ChatGPT what is the type signature for a set state function? All right, found it. Should be okay, right? calendar event, calendar event, calendar event. There we go. So when we do this, instead of this, because we have the type signature wrong, we need to be able to pass through the... Okay, so it gives us, update the state. We need to be able to do set events, previous state. We do that. And then we do previous state and new state. Because we still need to pass in the new state, it just needs to be adding on to it, I guess. Which means we actually don't even need this portion of it. This probably needs to be a literal. What is this thing talking about? It's only just this. It's only new state. There you go. That should be fixed now. Calendar event, new state, new state, new state. Calendar event. Oh my god, TypeScript, you're drunk. Update event, new state, events. Should I just do new state? What happens here? Like, does it work? Oh, we have to spread this. Okay, so we're gonna go to fetch. We're gonna go to the fetch event, and we're gonna update, and we're gonna say is generated. generated. And is that what we put in the schema? No, we didn't, but we'll do that. So we're gonna have to migrate in a second. Is generated, and if it's already there, I'm gonna say is generated item dot otherwise it is false. If it's not explicitly defined, it's false. And if it's not explicitly defined, it's false. And this is every item. Can we? Likely if it's coming from Google Calendar, it's false. But we have to figure out a way to like parse through that. But let's do false here. I'm gonna save. Going to go ahead and migrate. Okay. And then create. Let's see. I'm not migrating. I accidentally didn't migrate properly. Oh. Default is gonna be false. Let's try that. Oh. All right. Let's refresh. Oh, I don't know why it's not. Okay, now we're just getting a bunch of errors. Invalid argument. Okay, let's make the prompt. Let's make the prompt. Okay, so go to the doctor, new event, another it overwrote. Let's see. What I want to do is go to calendar, and then when it adds time, set global event. Is generated true? Is this long event? Yeah, it is long event. So long event just gets overwritten, or not overwritten, but like, we need to fix the prompt. And I don't know why this is red. Why are you red? Huh? What an extremely weird error. Hmm. 'Kay, so I can AI create still. I don't know why I'm getting these error messages. I might have to close out and then open it again. Oh shoot. It put it in the morning. Finally. Wash a car for 30 minutes. Wash a car. Go to Best Buy. 3 a.m. Rent a movie. Cool. 3 a.m. So that's all working. Whatever the prompt was, luckily I've been saving all these prompts. This is a good one. Let me go ahead and copy paste this. Okay, one thing I do need to do though, like, is I need to specify that the tasks that are created are the ones, there should be at least create events for the following tasks based on earlier rules, and there should be 30 minutes there should be at least 30 minutes between events created. And we can just move this, because I think one thing that I'm worried about is that it will read the prompt and it will be like, it will break the rule of the 30 minutes because I've broken the rule. Like, not all of these events are, I guess that is 30 minutes, isn't that? No. 30 minutes is just one little block. This is effectively so this is 30 minutes. So, I mean, I guess that's fine, but I just want to make sure that it doesn't break that rule in the future. But this is good. And I'm going to go ahead and make a... I think it oh, it didn't. It didn't. It did it right. It did it right, but it created another one of these. I don't know why. Maybe because it's like whenever we're adding on to the previous one, that need to be excluded, but respected, they are as follows. So let's try that. So right now this is pretty good, sort of. We're almost there. We want to make sure that it's like whenever we hit this button, it's doing it for the rest of the week and it's using the parameters. Like if the parameters are too strict, then it might get funky, but generally speaking, it should work the way that we want it to. Wash a car, go to the doctor. Wash a car, go to the doctor. Go to Best Buy. What are we missing? We're missing 2 Best Buys. Or we're missing 1 Best Buy. We have go to the doctor. We have wash a car. We don't have rent a movie, and we don't have 1 Best Buy. I don't know where they went. Unless they're hiding under. Another event, new event. These 2 events are there. Let's see what the response was. Like this is like kind of perfect, but it's only go to Best Buy once, and you go to the doctor. It just you didn't go to the Best Buy twice. Twice a week for 45 minutes. Go to Best Buy 45 minutes. 45 minutes. Let me remove some tasks. I think we can call this done, and we just have to refine the prompt a lot more, and we're golden. Or we just make our own model. But let's do. Let me delete some stuff. Event task. Event task. Event task. We gotta go to Prisma Studio. Let's delete go to doctor and wash car and go to Best Buy. Just actually delete most of these things. All right. Let's say we want to go to the gym for 30 minutes 2 times. We want to do Spanish 2 times. What else do I do daily? Let me check my watch. We want to draw 30 minutes 2 times. We want to read 30 minutes 2 times. Let's see how it fares. Okay, let's see. So it did gym and reading at the same time. It did draw once. Everything is 2 times. So I'm just wondering, maybe it just gave up. Maybe it gave up. Maybe it was just like, you know what? It's not going to happen. You cannot do all of these things. What if that's the real lesson from all this? You literally cannot do everything. Start time, draw, gym, end time. I think that's the lesson. I think that's the real lesson to be understood here. So now let's try to get persist events to work. So we have to go to event and we have to get a gcal. So we want to go create events. Whoa. Let me think. Const event. We're going to do it for event of events. And we sort of want to do what we were doing earlier. Fill that up. We want to go if event is like missing, start time is missing, or event end time is missing, we continue. Ooh, excuse me. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and we're gonna go ahead and do that, and we're gonna go process dot env dot what's it called? Google. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull some env. We're gonna pull some env real quick. There we go. Google Calendar ID. Bless up. Resource of. Yep. That's good. Desired time zone. Event or event dot name. Description of the event. No. Okay, it's hello. Have you integrated? Oh, so I have integrated Google Calendar. I can actually show you what that looks like. So we have the events here, and like, let's create another event. Let me actually put your name here. A DMO. And then what we need to do is refresh. We'll actually pull everything, and boom, it's right here. So the way that we're doing this is actually, we're using service accounts. We're using a service account, which is a little bit more, I actually think it's kind of less involved than OAuth 2. So I think there's 2 versions you can use most, if not a lot, of Google APIs. Is OAuth 2, which is typically user facing, and service accounts, which is usually automation server facing. So I use service accounts because the only thing that I need to do is add the Google Calendar to my API, to my account, add the email that I'm using that has all the calendars to the service account, go to the calendar I want to use or the calendars that I want to use and add that service account as an owner or someone who can write and read. And that's it. Versus having to have a thing that's like hosted on the internet. And it's just like, I don't want to deal with that. The only thing that I want to do is be able to actually just get my information for the sake of the video, for the stream, for the being able to do the thing that I want to do with the application. So yeah, I have integrated Google Calendar, and I don't use the refresh token because I hate having to do all of that if I'm just doing something for myself. But yeah. And this is just going to be called E, and then the resource is going to be called E. Have you used some package, or is it only custom made? No. So the package I'm actually using is Google's package. What I did was, their documentation is really bad. So I went to ChatGPT and I was just like, can you show me how to use the service account auth, because this was way too complicated for me. So it's just like, nah, like, show me how to do this using Google's API. So, you know, you just yarn add Google APIs, and then you do your keys, which you download from your service account dashboard. It's fairly straightforward. Scopes, and then you just basically copy and paste, and boom. Like, that's it. I use ChatGPT at least. OAuth 2 is possible. I have done it. I don't like doing it. I don't like having to manage tokens, because you have to refresh, and like, Google makes it easy to do it locally. I will say that there are functions that, like, when you get a certain like error code, it will be like, oh, like, you got this error, like, let us refresh this for you, and then you can pass in some custom code so you can handle it on your database or whatever. So like, they make it easy. I just hate doing it. I'm just lazy. What is going on? Event created. So we're awaiting this. This is awaited. Calendar ID does not exist on. So let me see what's going on. I might have to go Google API calendar insert. So the only thing is calendar ID. So what are you working on then? Like, what's your project that you're working on that's requiring OAuth 2? Let's do this. What do you require from us? Insert. What? It said that it didn't need that. Why is it? I got lied. They were lying. All right. So calendar ID needs to be there, but then, okay, I guess it's request body. Let me see. Oh, so the request body is just. There we go. Let me go ahead and get this. I'm going to use ChatGPT to give me, what is the format of this? What is the format of this date string for date functions? And let me go back to chat. I'm building a booking platform for doctor, so I need to create a button inside the admin panel where the doctor can connect his Google calendar account and choose in which account check for conflict and in which calendar create the new reservation, like Calendly. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know how I would do this, but it sounds like you're using existing code. Is the existing code yours? But like that's what I would do is like, you know, you need a back end thing, and yeah, you need a backend server, and I'm thinking about like in the ways that you get information, because I usually never fetch that information on the client side. It's always server side. So I would just have something that's just like every time I need to get information, I hit it, and every time it needs to be refreshed, you're just passing in that thing. Like it's not super complicated, but yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I have to parse JSON. Oh, and then we do event dot start time. Oops, I spelled it wrong. Event dot parse time, but then we have to format that, and the string that we got is, I got it on ChatGPT. We are gonna just do that. The formatting broke. So that's the start time, and it needs to be a string. This should be a string. Add import. Then we're gonna do the same thing here. We'll do end time, and then your time zone. I'll grab that from earlier, or I won't grab that from earlier. I will grab that from the documentation that they had. This is so cool. I love documentation. The Iona time zone database. Oh, we're not doing that. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do America, New York. Yeah, I think I have to create a URL to give permission with OAuth and save the refresh token in the super database. And later, every time I have to make a call or for add or receive appointment, I use the refresh token to generate a new act. Yep, exactly. The flow is like this. Your backend, your client has the generated flow. So your button will have the generated flow, which will have your client ID. The doctor clicks on it. They're like, okay, this is the account I want to use. Click on it. That request goes to your server. Oh, it goes to your callback. That response goes to your callback. The callback goes and sends that code to your server. The server, I mean, I guess you could like literally, you'll just see it. Typically people will have to go back, but yeah. So the doctor has to connect the account only one time until they disconnect. This is what they need, or this is what I need. Yeah. Is there a list of time zones, perhaps? No. All right, so if the event gets created, I don't know what the data is. Oh my God, I did this wrong, I think. I feel like this should pass the event back. But I'm also just like, I don't feel like the event should be wholly handled in here like this. It should be like a different function. Oh boy. Yeah, let's just do event and boom. And we don't need continue, we just need return. Are you using the Google Calendar webhook to catch the new event, or do you check on refresh? I check on refresh. Uh, Wait, there's a webhook. I didn't realize there was a webhook. If there's a webhook, I would look. I would do that. If there's a webhook. Whoa! Wait! Whoa! What? 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 That's crazy. There's a webhook. There's a webhook. Wow, that's awesome. I don't know how this works. I don't know how it works, but the fact that it exists is awesome, which means you could probably ask ChatGPT how to do it. That's what I would do. That's cool. Thank you for that. Oh my god. That's crazy. Wait a second. So this is the event. It's an object. Let's do this. Or like events, which is going to be an array of objects. And what we can do is we could actually run, we can have all the events. So we do input dot events dot map, create item, and then await create events, and then we just pass the event. All right, I'm gonna just make this async. And we're also gonna have to await this. I don't know why this wasn't already awaited. Create events. Okay, so yeah, we need something to distinguish. We're gonna do a calendar event, and we're gonna just do an event. There is a way, because system like Amy do that in real time when you add an event to Google Calendar. So they use the system, or they have a cron that runs every 1 second. I would use the webhook. I wonder what people's opinions are for running something like that in production, like a webhook, because like I want to use a webhook. It's cheaper and it's easier, but at the same time, like, what happens if the webhook isn't, like, what if there's a failure to reach the webhook? That's always my biggest fear. It's just like, what if it just doesn't work? What if you just don't get the request or something like that? Otherwise, yeah, I would use a webhook. Because crons every 1 second sounds insane, especially at scale. I maybe would do something like every 1 to 5 minutes or something like that for everyone, but I could not do like every second. It'd just be too expensive. You can always check on the every refresh also with the webhook. So if it fails, yeah, exactly. I think you could do a combination of all three. What I would do is like, you set up the webhook, and then you do on refresh manual check, like on window focus or on refresh. And then you also have crons running like every 5 minutes or so. So like when people are outside of, well, I guess if you did on refresh, then you wouldn't need the cron. So never mind. because on refresh means that they have I would do window focus and on refresh. So it'd be like anytime they came to the app for the first time or anytime that they were in the app and hit the refresh, they're checking. And then on the webhook, it would give you the closest thing to real time. And then you just probably wouldn't need a cron unless they just, if you're doing on window focus, like every 5 minutes, that could be your cron, like a client side cron instead of like a back end cron. And that'd be like the cheapest way to do it, I think. That'd be sick. All right, let's see if I can export anything. Okay, so we create events. I want to say create event because it is not. Okay, create event. Did I put... Oh, I need to make this event. Okay, cool. And then we're getting the information and storing it. I don't know why it's saying all this. I'm sure it'll be fine shortly. And then we want to create many. And then skip duplicates. I don't think it can skip duplicates because they're all generic events. So we can do... It's an array. It has to be an array. So we just do ES. And if we're awaiting everything, do we need to await this? What will this be? It's going to be a promise? I have to await this too? Interesting. It's async. We're waiting. I wonder if this will work. We can just test the mutate and see if it works. Create item as a promise. So we want to return the awaited. I don't understand why this is a promise, but create many does not exist. I thought it did exist. Yeah, let's go to this tab. Create. I guess I can't create multiple events using If I create event, I want to return all of the events, but let me see. DB event. Why can't I create many? There's a unique on it. Did I not export a type event? I didn't. So event is now exported as type. That's so crazy that I can't create. Let me just see if we can at least try this. We can do this where it's like okay, now it's fixed. So now we can do a create. So we can go to calendar and we will do something similar. We'll do events, create, use mutation. On success, console log, yay. Because we don't need to do anything because the event is already on the user screen. So event create. What do we have to pass in a bunch of since we don't need to do anything, we actually don't even need to do that, but persist events. Here we go. Mutate or events global events.map events, and we just have to filter. We just have to filter this. And we have to say if event is generated. Okay, so let's go ahead and make prompts. Oh, Jesus. All right, so it attempted to shove everything. This is Spanish, right? Yeah, it attempted to shove everything in Friday. So gym, Spanish, draw, read, and rent a movie happens today, and everything else is fine. So this works, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit persist event, and we're gonna look at the error message, and we got a bunch of promises. This is surprising. Event. Use YY instead of YY. Let's look at this. Let's try persisting event again. Starting to think that ChatGPT doesn't know date FNS very well. Date FNS format preview. All right, I'm like currently like looking at something that'll allow me to preview a format string. I guess I can't do it like that. I'm gonna go to the Google API again. Hold on. Google API, and I need to look at an event, and I have to look at the start time. So insert start time. It's R3339. Let me try this. I don't know if this will fare any better, but we can try it. Oh shoot, it worked. I think it worked. I guess we'll see in a second. Let me check the calendar. Oh, wait, let's check the calendar. Okay, we did in fact do a thing. We did in fact do a thing. I'm trying to see, like, how can I show this? How can we compare the two? So we have the gym, Spanish right here, but apparently it's also down here too. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I think it's because of the hold on. We can up the span and we'll see it in a second. Oh, not that one. So that doesn't need to be upped, but we have to up the grid row. So Maybe we don't. I need to see what I'm using to calculate. Let me calculate. Generate week. Okay, here we go. So we did the get hours. Did we need to do, because it's not supposed to be 5:30. Hold on. So I think I forgot to fix this. So new event should be 5:30, and right now it's not 5:30. I didn't add the minutes basically. So what I need to do is +2, but then we can do get minutes. I forgot. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do this very wrong for a second because I forgot what the math is. I think it's divide by 5. Okay, that is close. That might be it. This is in the middle of that. That's in the middle of that. That's 9. That might be it. I think I may have fixed it. So now we see both of the Spanishes. Yeah, that's basically it. Honestly, like, let me see. I realized that we did. That is actually basically it. We're getting the information we need there, or we would want there. Event created. This is an async function that's being exported. Maybe instead of doing it like this, maybe we do it like for const item in employees events, and we do T, and then we do push T, something like that. For loops over arrays are forbidden. Use for of. For of. Item, boom, boom. That should events, push, T is an actual thing, and we can return this. So now we can return ctx.db.events. Why can I create mini? Let me Google why I wouldn't be able to create mini. Create mini not available, or not a function. Okay, it's not supported on SQLite. Gotcha. So I would fix that and add it there. And honestly, we don't even need to, since it's not, what we can do is we can take T, all right? We don't even need this anymore. We don't need this. We can await ctx.db.event.create. We do data and then we just spread the object. What are you missing? What are you missing? What are you missing? It should not. Oh, spread T. My bad. Spread T. And then we can await ctx.db db.event.get or find mini, and boom. And then this, what are you barking at me for, TypeScript? I guess we can do it manually. So we have name, which is t dot name. What? T dot name. And then also we're gonna have to continue if it's not there. So we'll just preemptively put that continue there. So we're gonna do t dot name, and then we're gonna do start time dot start dot date. So the string, yeah, end time t dot start dot date, event ID t dot I. What do you mean? It's my object. What do you mean? It's depreciated. Let's see, what else do we got for event? Start time, end time, event is generated. Is generated. Yes, indeed. And then ID is generated on create. So for these, we can spread this actually. So we'll go const name ID start end and if no name, if no ID, which it will have an ID, but if no start dot date, if no end dot date, continue, and we will equal t, and we can do that. We can do that. We can replace this with end, and we can do that. End does not exist on schema event. What do you mean? If I do T, it's here. Oh, it's summary. Name is summary. Right. Name is actually summary. Okay, so we can't do that. Dang it. We'll just do t.summary. I guess that makes sense. You can't destructure if it doesn't exist, so. Womp womp. I want to be lazy. I can't be lazy. Dot t and date dot t date, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove a lot of the stuff on the calendar because it's just like gross. Like this is disgusting. We're just gonna delete, and we're gonna redo this. All right, refresh. All right, cool. So now it should give us all of the events that we made once we have done that. The task should be there, but there should be no events. Oh, there's still the events. I just realized. Because there's no way for us to see whether or not we removed the actual event from the calendar. So I would have to. That's why That's why the webhook is great in this instance, because if you remove the webhook, or if you use a webhook, it will, when you remove something, it will take it out. But I'm just like, and I feel like this is such a better way of doing it than to manually check whether or not each event exists. Oh my god. Yeah, I got a nuke. Let me delete the stuff off of Prisma real quick. Refresh. Yeah, because everything is still here. We want to just delete this. Delete. Yep. All right. So remove them from the database. They're not here anymore. We're going to go ahead and make prompt. Still loading. And what did we get? We got some up here that broke, which means it probably divided funny. What's the rent a movie? Let me right here. We can like math seal maybe. Okay, that sort of fixed that. Right here is probably Spanish. And then there's supposed to be one other Spanish. One other Spanish. And it might not have come through, which is weird. But we'll see. So we'll go to results. Rent a movie. Gym. Spanish once. Draw once. Read once. Gym once. I did a lot of them just once. Like gym is twice, which is good. Read is once. Spanish is once. There's enough time for all of these things. I'm curious on why it's this is like 9 to 9:30, and then there isn't 30 minutes between these two, so it's not respecting the prompt. The prompt is honestly the main thing about this application is literally the prompt. It's just the prompt. The prompt is that's something that we experienced when we were using ChatGPT, and that's something we're experiencing now. So there are existing events that need to be respected. We actually, if this exists, then if events string exists and it's not empty, like there are other events, then we'll do this. If there's not, then we don't want them to, we don't need to worry about it. Events string and then nothing. So nothing there. So if there is no event string, nothing happens. Otherwise, something happens. Nothing should be planned on Tuesday. Boom, that exists. Create events for the following tasks based on earlier rules, and there should be based on earlier rules, and there should be at least 30 minutes between events created. All right, let's try to hit the prompt again. So we'll go ahead and refresh. Is it on the calendar yet? Because we want to make sure that the calendar that we see on here is the calendar that we want. Okay, so rent a movie, 60 minutes. Nothing super late. Gym, Spanish. Spanish is just super tiny. One Spanish, one gym, one draw, one read. But it's not utilizing the rest of the other days. Weird. Let's make another prompt. Okay. This is an error of my doing. If we give them each a unique identifiers, we might be able to. No. With the refresh. Okay, so gym, read. We need another read, but read. Spanish. Spanish happens twice. 30-minute rule respected. So let's try to all tasks can happen between. And let's remove nothing. Should be planned for Tuesday. And errors refresh. Okay. So there we go. That feels a bit better. We have 2 gyms, we have 2 Spanishes, we have 2 draws, and we have 2 reads, and we have rent a movie happening later today. The spacing is a little bit weird. I don't know if seal is the best way to do that. So we're gonna go ahead and persist this one on the calendar, and we might call the stream in a second. Let's see, because seal the smallest integer. We could do floor. I don't know if I should do floor, but there we go. Okay. Honestly, let's go ahead and persist this. I didn't see anything break. Let's go ahead and inspect. Event create. We sent over 9. Response. I didn't get anything back. I think I broke something. If there's no summary, if there's no start date. All right, which database are you using? I'm using SQLite locally because I am lazy. Ah, there we go. It appeared. It is here. It worked. The thing that I am worried about though is the fact that like it didn't. When I did find many, it just didn't find any. It didn't return anything for the mutation. Okay, so that's my schedule for the rest of the week. Um, I'm trying to think like this. This is decent. Like this is a good like. Okay, like I'm getting ready to like start. This is good. I really want to learn prompting, right? A thing that I'm just like, all right, I need to figure out how do I prompt this a bit better so it's way more consistent. I think this is like this feels like 50%. This feels like 50 or 60. There's still just like a lot more that I would want to do to get it perfect. We can't click the delete. Um, we can't really delete anything over here. We can't delete anything over here. And reclaim, you can move your event. So I'd be able to do this. You know, you'd be able to do that, which I want to be able to do. Um, what else? I can add a task. You know, we can add a task. It happens between 9 and 5. Like they start between 9 and 5. Um, is there anything else? Like, if anyone is here right now, let me know. Like, what else would you add? Like, what else would you want out of this? Because to me, like, this is workable on a weekly basis. Like, if there's stuff that I need to do, I can just add my tasks and say how long they're gonna take, and then boom. I want to refine this a lot more. I'll put the code out, but this is a really good first start. I think. Oh, do you want any features? What would you add? Oh wait, I guess you need a WebSocket connection for real-time updates. I think you can still do that with React query, so you don't have to really worry about that. Oh, wowie zowie. All right, I think I'm gonna. Yeah, I think I might. I might call it. I was able to do. I was able to get what I needed done. I think I still want to like update it, update the prompts a little bit more, just like so I get the calendar correctly, it persists properly, and I need to keep track of what I get too. So let me write this all down. Keep track of tasks and events uniquely. Because that's a big thing. Google Cal webhook. Thank you for the recommendation on the webhook. I didn't know that was a thing. I know YouTube has it. It's not the most fun, but it exists, and I didn't know that Google Calendar has this. This is awesome. I wonder if you can do this with the service. Can you get a webhook with service account? GCal. Oh, sick. You could do it in. Oh, sick. All right, cool. So I would keep track of the tasks. I would Google, like I would do a Google Calendar webhook. I would do delete task plus events, I guess, tasks and events. Because an issue that we have is like if we remove an event from here, like if I were to delete an event here, I would just delete it on the calendar as well, because the assumption is this has been persisted. So there needs to be some way of knowing whether or not. So is an event official? Is an event official? So we click on it. We're like, can I delete this? Blah, 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 blah. Tasks with events linked. So, all right. So, tasks with events linked, which you'd see right here. And priority could be shuffled around, which we can actually do. I forgot. We can actually do that. Let's not do random colors. I think generate column. I want to convert this into a use memo. Let's see. Generate color classes, generate week. Okay, so I have to figure out how to make let's test the use memo real quick. Events. Render of events. Rendered events. So we can do that. Use memo. And then we do a function. And then so I want to take, because I'm thinking if we hide the events, so we're going to do this. If we hide the events, right? And, which means there is another comment. Use memo is not defined. Oh. I was trying with Google APIs, but I receive every time some module are missing, like net, TLS, FS. No, I haven't gotten that same issue. I'm using. We can figure out what node I'm using. We can say node v, and then npm v. So this is node is v21 2.0, and then npm is 10.2.3. If I saw more of the code, like a picture or something like that, I'd be able to help you out. If you have a Twitter, you can just tweet at me or DM me, and I'd be willing to look at it. Look at the issue you're getting. Yeah, something is causing this to re-render, which it shouldn't. I am available for freelance. I am. You follow me on Twitter? Word. Yeah, I am available for freelance. Okay, so let's go ahead and take that in, put that stuff in the Git memo. Oh, let's slide this down. Exit. Word. I would love to talk to you about it. Yeah, just DM me to start the conversation and we can get it going. Ooh. Okay, wait. Let's back up a little bit with this. So we want to first uncomment this, and then we have that comment and we have that comment. Then we're gonna have global events. We don't need this, and we can format, and we can move this below global events. And this is depending on global events. Done it? All right, word. I will peep in a few minutes. And it's also I think it's only global events. I think that's the only dependency right now. There might need to be some. There's definitely needs to be some state separation, because the reason why the color thing was happening was because every time it was rendering, it was giving me a new value. Okay, now it's not. Hmm. This needs to be weak start. There we go. What is the weak start? What else is being like re-rendered? Okay, it's something to do with the set task. I don't know how to fix that. I truly don't know how to fix that. All right. Well, that is basically it. Like that is, I would do more prompting. I think the core of like the additions that I would do would be prompting. I think keeping track of the tasks is also another improvement that I would do, so I could do other stuff. Uh, I would distinguish between persistent and non-persistent events. I would keep tasks linked with events so we could get something cool below hand. I have to fix this, which I think is a render issue, like, or a state issue, excuse me. So like, let's see. So here is this. That's the modal. This is the header. Let's minimize this. Like let's only do the task. And events and so now I do task and it should just be the whole screen. It's still giving me beef. Item name plus item. It's frequency maybe. Yeah. I'm interested in seeing what's going on with this. Framer motion. Reorder. Not working. Huh. I don't know. Oh shoot. Depending on where you grab it, is it giving me? Why is it working now? It's just okay. It's just working now. I think it has something to do with state. Um. week start, and then we'll do item dot frequency. Oh, so now it works. Jesus. All right. Well, I'm glad I fixed it. I don't know why that fixes it, but that's cool. All right. So, and then also we have to add order to tasks, because the tasks have an order. All right. Yeah, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to make this into a video after I sneeze. Oh, didn't sneeze. I'm going to make this into a video sort of summarizing the events of these streams. And honestly, if I could do this every like 2 to 3 weeks, it would be very nice. You know, I know what the next thing I want to do is, and we're just going to get on to it. I'm going to go ahead and say bye. Oh, is there anything else that I need to say? Yeah, if you don't already, and you want to see the video, I stream on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. I might end up just streaming on one, but restreaming is super easy to do. But let me find the channel. I don't know. Actually, I don't even know what channel I'm going to be using, so never mind. I'll figure it out, and I'll let everyone know. Thank you, everyone who was watching all these things. Gonna make this into a video, and the next thing we should be working on might be related to ecom. I'm not exactly sure. See you.